Okay, my friends. Hello, it's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast. And this is your podcast for November, for the month ahead of November. Let's just take a moment and pour one out for October. Okay. The energy that came through in October was this like joy, this exuberance, this a wheel turning in your favor, show me how good it can get. And I'm just thinking about people have come through it in October, and there's been a lot of illumination. So the sun, the clarification, sorry, my hair is crazy. The clarification around what you needed to see, you saw clearly in October. So that's really beautiful. And take a second to, again, pour one out. Think about it. Okay, when I started October, I was thinking this and I thought this and I needed clarity on this. Check in. I pretty much can guarantee that you have clarity around it, come hell or high water. And so that is the beauty of the sun. Like nothing hides in the shadows, nothing hides in the cracks. And the Wheel of Fortune, the turn, so this is where it gets tricky. I can speak for myself. There's things that came onto the table, came into the space with me in October, but they haven't quite landed. And so there's this sense of, will they, won't they, a little bit of that energy, or is this long term, or is this just to remind me of something? So there's this like little bit of a hesitation, because maybe part of what October did was it trained us to let things move, to let the pieces reshuffle. And so there is this little bit of a sense of what now? What was just a quick lesson? What's here to stay? What have I learned? Where is the light still uncovering things? Like, where are things still getting clarified in the light of day? And aho to that, to the ever unfolding journey that we're all on. But there's something about it didn't feel steady what happened in October. It felt like it was moving quickly. It felt like a lot happened, and it felt an investigation, but not necessarily something that you want to, not like a land you want to plant seeds in per se. I will say that the energy for November is very different. The energy for November is justice and judgment, neither of which are two cards that I get particularly lit up around. Both of these cards have a stern quality to them that I definitely rebel against in my soul. So there's something about this energy that is very stern, very direct, not at all like the energy of October. And it's just interesting how September, October, November, like we've just gotten these very different flavors of energy. And I wonder which flavor appeals to you the most. But this idea of justice and judgment is interesting. Again, there's this like contradiction in my body, because my mind sees these cards, and it's, I don't know, it's stern and boring and a little bit official and a little bit big. Like it doesn't feel like it's really about me and my community. It feels like it's something larger. And then in my body, I have a very different reaction. In my body, I have this kind of, dare I say, turn on. Like there's this sense of someone else being in charge. And I have one of my shaman sisters, and she's so funny. She's one of the funniest people I know. But when we were going through the wheel the first time, and we would talk about Pachapapa or Pachacuta Inca, which are like the sky energies, the sky guardians. And she used to say Sky Daddy. So when she would open the sacred space, she'd be like, Sky Daddy, thank you. And there's something about that energy that's here with us, like Sky Daddy. Justice is the sense of harmony in the world, the sense of the scales balancing. It's love brought to the streets. So there's so much about justice energy that's asking us to get out of our own way. And the words I keep hearing, which are not words that I would normally say, so they have to be from somewhere, is get right with God. And that sounds so freaking threatening. And that's not, I don't feel it that way at all. It feels get right with God, not as a something's wrong with you, but as an invitation to clean it up. Like the justice card in this month feels like, where am I out of alignment? Where am I lost in my own suffering? One of the most beautiful ways to get out of your own way, to get out of your own head when you're in trouble, is service. So it's very much coming up for me right now, the stuff that's happening with food and food scarcity and the way that our government is, some of the safety nets are disintegrating under people's feet, has me very aware in my community. And there's a lot of political stuff I won't get involved in, particularly from a work standpoint or like a gifting standpoint, because I think it can be very distracting and people can spin off into that space when the work is almost always an invitation back to you. In this case, for me, the invitation back to me is, how can I sleep at night? How can I feed my children if I am not contributing to the safety and the wellness and the food on the table of the children of my community? And so that feels to me, that's not like an outreach, an overreach. That's how do I get right with God? I make sure that I'm doing the most I can to make sure that children in my community at least are protected. And Princeton might sound like a really beautiful place, but 30% of our kids in our public schools are on free or reduced lunch. There is a lot of food scarcity, even in a community as affluent as Princeton. And so right now, my focus on the community, where will that lead me? I don't know. But I will tell you right now that for me, getting right with God means stop talking about politics and start showing up at my local food sources and making sure they have the resources they need, because I have the resources to share and I have the energy and the voice to share. And so I will do as much as I can right now. And that's part of my getting right with God. So what's your getting right with God? How are you like facing the things that are troubling you? How are you putting your hands to the work? How are you putting your voice, your resources to the work? And that's something that is here with us with the Justice card always, always. The Justice card is always inviting us to not perseverate or intellectualize the troubles or get ourselves in some kind of doom scrolling mindset. It's no, you are a creature of love. How do you bring that love to the streets? That is the invitation with Justice. How are you contributing to the harmony of the world, or how are you disrupting the flow of harmony in the world? And that's another reason why, again, obviously you're not here for politics, but what I will say to you is my meditation is always, am I on the side of love? Am I on the side of freedom? And am I on the right side of history? And that is the litmus test that I use in my own life. And I offer that to you. And that's like a personal conversation. That's a personal exploration, but it will show you what the work is that needs to be done, either in your own system or in your community or in the wider world. Justice, you can't ignore that when justice is on the table. And then you add judgment to it. Judgment is like justice on a universal scale. So judgment is the ways in which we will no longer remain blind to what is. So the ways that we've allowed a veil over our eyes, the ways that we've colluded in our own disempowerment, the way we've colluded in the disempowerment of other people. There's something about judgment that is the idea, the most basic idea of this card is, now that you've seen, you are not the same. And the judgment card it pictures the healing journey or the spiritual seeker's journey, in that, again, like you might start out on the road for X, Y, or Z. You might start off on the road because you want to manifest something. You want to bring something into your existence. You see someone, you say, I want to be like that. I want to have that. And so you start off on this path of inquiry, this path of exploration, this path of knowing yourself and knowing source. And it's not easy, brother, sister. You get to a point where you're like, why am I doing this? It's like a creative process. Why did I start this? Why was this a good idea? But you get to a place where there's no going back. There's no unseeing what you've seen about yourself, about God, about source, about the world. And so the judgment card in general is okay, now you see the light. What will you do? What do you do now? And the judgment card is also answering the call. So there's some call via your angels, via your gods, your universe, your source, via love, that cannot be ignored. And so that judgment card, it's also very stern. It's not a card of nuance. It's a card of illumination and your eyes opening. The sun kind of paints the land with light. The sun is, let's reveal the shadows. Let's reveal what is not of the light. The judgment card is, okay, now you've seen the light. Now you must move accordingly. Now there is no going back. That's intimidating. There's again, like a sternness to that that's very intimidating. The justice and the judgment together, there's not a lot of wiggle room for nonsense. And so this idea of get right with God, and if that's something that triggers you, that phrase, work on that. Sit with that, journal with that. Where's the trigger? Where have you heard that before? Where does that energy leads you? What are the assumptions you're making about what that means? Because when I'm channeling it to you right now, all it means is find what brings you into integrity. So if you are doing something that is not in alignment, clean it up, dude. If you're not telling the truth about something that needs to be said, what's true about, get brave and tell the truth. If you are avoiding cleaning up some space in your life, metaphorically or physically, go clean it up. There's something about this sense of get right with God, and God is you, like is your higher self, is the universe, again, is love. And so it doesn't have to be like a mean sky daddy. It's the sky daddy of, I see you, powerful creature. Again, do not waste this precious moment you have here on earth. Do not waste the light that I've revealed, that it has been revealed, that has been shown to you. Don't waste it. Don't waste your time here. Don't get tangled up in the distractions and the noise that keep you off the path or keep you out of integrity or keep you out of alignment or out of connection or out of presence and awareness. So together, I can't help but hear my sister being like, Sky Daddy, thank you. And while there's like a part of me that's, oh, I don't know, thank you. Want to go sit on a beach somewhere. There's another part of me that's turned on by this. Like I feel it deep in my sacral, like a sense of, that's right. That's right. No more fucking around. That's the energy that's here. And so I offer that to you. I offer that to you with hopefully a sense of humor. Like hopefully you too can find the humor. The reason I love that Sky Daddy is because it brings a little bit of a sexual energy, like a fun, playful energy to it, to something that feels particularly stern. And it also adds humor to something that can feel heavy. Justice and judgment together can feel like a book slamming or like a gavel on the bench. And there can be fear in that. Something that feels like something bigger than you, like judging you. And that's not justice and judgment, right? You can feel very judged by these cards. And the way we release that is we have a sense of humor about it. We have a sense of humor about what we're even doing and what it even means to be human. And then we say, okay, if I'm the judge and the jury, if I'm the one facing myself at my end of days, what do I need to do? It's that famous question. I think David Data asks it, like, if you were on your deathbed or like you were going to die tomorrow, what's the thing you would need to do to feel right with your life, to feel like you had lived a good life? So what could that be? It could be so many things. It could be a conversation you need to have. It could be a way of loving yourself. It could be a way of taking care of your body. It could be a project you want to start or a service you want to endeavor or some kind of test you want to bring yourself against. It could be so many things. It could be learning how to be at ease, to be gentle with yourself, to speak to yourself with love. It could be the legacy you want to pass on to your children or to the world. So it could be 1,000 things, but what is the thing? Look at your life today and look around and say, what are the things keeping me from feeling like I'm living the life I want, I dream of? Think of the younger you looking at your life now and being like, this is so beautiful, and this, or let's get rid of this. Or your higher self coming in with the same kind of sight or vision. So if justice and the judgment, if we can reframe that as some external force in our life telling us whether we're right or wrong, and bring it home to some quiet whisper in our heart that says, if I'm going to get right with God, whatever that means to me, what does that mean? What am I going to do? What needs to be done? Where does my energy need to go now? And that's the invitation for November. You won't be able to hide out in November. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of room for fucking around, excuse my French, but there's not a lot of room for nonsense. It doesn't mean there's not room for play and whimsy and good times, but there's a clarity and intentionality around even that shouldn't be played with, I guess I would say. And then the cards that come in around us, so the cards that support that, have to do with, let's see what we have here. Yeah, there's this interesting sense of grounding. So the card Anchor to Fly, which I always love, which is like to get deep and strong and clear so that you can launch yourself into what's next. Authenticity, Queen of Pentacles, which are very much of the same. It's in you. So this energy of, again, and I'm going to show this to you. It's this beautiful lion card. But it's that sky daddy, that's the king, and the king is in you. There's this like bringing back into the body of who's in charge around here. Who's in charge around here. And so it's this interesting dialogue happening between you inside of you and you outside of you. Like, how are you communicating with you as you live as a wider being, and what would you want for yourself? I get that thing on TikTok. They're like, if your life was a movie, what would the audience be screaming at the screen? Think about that. That's like a funny question, and that's it. It's a funny question. It's a funny thought experiment, and yet it's so revealing about what needs to happen, what needs to be done, what should be done just because, like, for the plot, like what should be done just because, dude, I'm not guaranteed another day here. What am I going to do while I'm alive? How am I going to live while I'm alive? That beautiful question. Peace, completion, authenticity. So there's just something about the fortification of you, getting right with God. I just keep hearing it over and over again. And I don't know if that means something to someone specific that's here. It doesn't have a charge for me. It's a funny phrase for it to keep coming through, but I get it. Like, I get the spirit of it. The spirit of it is like, all right, clean it up. Let's clean it up. And let's not be afraid to say what's true. That's the other thing. It's so interesting how much energy we spend like crafting the story so that we can be at peace with the things we're not allowing for ourselves. What do I mean by that? I mean that we have such a beautiful way, our brain is such a beautiful way of keeping us in stasis, of keeping us in safety mode. And I just feel like part of the invitation is to be bigger than that, to dream bigger than that, to honor what you've seen, honor what you really know, and not let yourself prevent yourself from moving in that direction. Super interesting energy. What else can I say about justice and judgment? Where are we at? Justice is 11 and judgment is 20. So 11, 20. There's like a clarity in those numbers. So 11 is a master number, and it's the shoot. It's you move fast. I also should say that November is going to move very quickly. There's a speed to this and a no nonsense energy to this that's important to note and prepare yourself for. But justice is the shoot. It's the 11. It's the idea of you're on this track already. And if you move with the 11 energy, you're going to move fast. It's like you're on the track. Your only job is to keep the tiller steady while the winds fill the sails, because there's going to be a quick movement. And the 20 energy is God's protection around connection. So God's protection around balance, around relationship, community, connection. And I think I said that in one of the weekly podcasts recently. But this idea of moving from this place of isolation that we've been experimenting with, learning in, and really making peace with the fact that we're not meant to do this alone. And can you find community and relationships that allow you to continue to expand and evolve and grow and become and experiment and make a mess and be your beautiful human self, but also do that within a nest of community, a nest of relationship, versus having to cultivate yourself or curate yourself to be accepted into a community or accepted into a relationship. That's very much here as well. So we're going to move fast in November. We are going to have to get right with God in November, and we are going to be schooled by Sky Daddy, whether he shows up in our own hearts and our own beings or in the external world. But there's going to be this energy of, like a stern daddy energy, which can be really sexy and feel really good. As we all know, I like to be told what to do. Take that as you will. But there's a part of me that's so strong-willed and so intentional and clear and holds so much that when someone comes in and says, we're going to do it this way, especially when that's a trustable energy, there's nothing I like more. There's nothing I love more. And so how do you feel about that? Where are you in that spectrum? What does that feel like for you? Who is the sky daddy that you defer to internally, externally, of spirit, of the world, of Pachapapa? And see what happens when you maybe trust the instincts, trust that voice, trust that clarity, and that like decisive determination. I don't know. It sounds fun to me. Let's see what happens. But it's something I have to reframe for myself, because when I first look at these cards, I'm like, oh, this is like big, stern daddy energy. And if we're having any issues with our father energy in our life, this might be a little bit confronting or triggering. On that note, I'm going to move to the signs, cards for every sign. But I would say this is going to move quickly, and your invitation is to clear things up and to not pretend you don't see what, don't lie to yourself about what it's going to become inevitable. With clear eyes, may it change, may it evolve, yes, but right now it's true, and you're being asked to be brave enough to move with what's true. So there you go. Happy November. Hold on, I'm going to pull some cards. Okay, so the first thing to note is that we have the Ten of Wands and dear gentleness for everyone. So we just want to be aware of the fact that we might feel a little burdened, a little weighed down this month ahead. And you want to remember with the Ten of Wands that it's not the load, it's how you carry it. And so if there are things that you are burdening yourself with, just notice that. Noticing where you can let go, where you can surrender. It's going to be a big theme for everyone this month. This idea of the Sky Daddy, he knows, they know, it knows. There's some clarity coming in, some like inevitable truth coming in. And we're just going to move with that and through that. But we're not overloading ourselves with that. We're releasing things into that. We're allowing what's true to be true and everything else to fall away. And the dear gentleness is just saying just that. Be so kind to yourself. Pray to Mother Mary or whatever other benevolent gods, goddesses, divine lineages speak to you. Just know that you're not alone. It's one of my favorite things about shamanism. I will say it till the end of time. Once you walk the medicine wheel, you realize that you do nothing alone in the best way. You are always held, supported, loved, accompanied, applauded by the universe and by the spirit and by your spirit guides. And I hope that I wish everyone could have an experience of walking through life like that. Okay, so for Scorpio, my sisters, my brothers, Page of Cups and the River, surrender. So Page of Cups is, as we know, an offering of love, like an offering of connection. Like I have this good feeling, I have this good energy, and I want to hand it to you. I want to share it with you. This is lighting up my own being and my own heart and my own life, and I want you to share that with me. And surrender. I feel, Scorpio, your beautiful independence is being confronted and tested a little bit this month, and really trusting where love, where art, where connection wants to show up for you. So it might not be in the ways you expect, and that's okay. Something about this card, this River surrender card, that's so beautiful. Just this sense of you're in the river, you're immersed in the thing, and there is connection everywhere. Like you are immersed in connection, helping yourself feel that. And then as you maybe move towards another, move towards someone's offer, if you can move towards it from a place of, I am already connected, I am already loved, I am already enveloped in beauty, love, connection. And so what does it mean for me to move towards another or with intention towards a thing, knowing that I bring with me the whole river of life, the whole river of love. So it's really beautiful, Scorpio. You have to use your discretion always, but there's this sense of your natural hesitation, your natural Scorpio suspicion coming online. And I want you to pause with that and decide, is this discernment or is this fear? Is this discernment and instinct, or is this an old story that's clouding the moment that I'm in right now? Because it feels like there's something very genuine, very humble being offered to you. And it's going to feel so nice and easy that you're going to maybe hesitate, because nothing should be this nice and easy, said from one Scorpio to another. But there's something about this. But if you remember who you are and you remember how you move when you're the most resourced, empowered version of yourself, you will remember that you have nothing to fear. Sagittarius, Eight of Cups and Maiden Innocence. The Eight of Cups actually came in reverse and none of the other cards did. So I'm just going to mention that because the Eight of Cups, as we know, is the impulse to move out into the world, because what you have here, what you've set up, as beautiful as it looks, it's no longer working for you. And so this idea of the Eight of Cups being the call in your heart, the desire to hit the road, to go experience something that you know needs to be experienced. And the Maiden, the Innocence card is so lovely, right? Just like that joy. And you can see this interesting, right? Because the red cloak is always indicative of the Eight of Cups. And then she's moving through wrapped in red. So you see that beautiful synchronicity there. And something about it coming in reversed feels like maybe you have already left, like you've already hit the road, and either there's some celebration of that, there's some joy that sparks in that, there's some sense of I did the right thing, that kind of energy, and just play, Sagittarius. Maybe the movement away or out was a serious thing. Maybe the movement away and out took something from you, took a level of courage or effort or girding yourself. And there's something about the way it came in reverse with the maiden and now you get to enjoy, like you chose the path, here you are. Can you play a little bit on it? Can you enjoy it? Can you trust that you did the right thing? Can you release some of the burden around it and just feel good that you're on the open road? Like the Sagittarius freedom, that spark, that fire, can you just let yourself enjoy that for a little bit? Capricorn, Six of Swords and Kali Ma, fierce love. Six of Swords is the card of safe passage. It means that you're moving from something possibly tumultuous into calmer waters. You're protected in that movement. That's not something you're doing haphazardly, and you're in the boat. So when we're in the boat, Capricorn, we don't make sudden movements and we don't abandon the journey halfway. And just because it's choppy now, we see the smooth waters ahead. Like we trust the process, the transit, the movement. And Kali Ma, fierce love. It's just, this is really beautiful together. It feels like this fierce self-love that puts you in the boat in the first place. This sense of the call beyond what you've known and staying anchored into that. Like if you doubt the transition you're in or the transit you're in, remember, I chose this. I knew this needed to happen. I knew that for my highest good, this was the movement. And even if I'm unsure of if the boat feels a little bit rocky right now, re-anchor into the fierceness, the love, the self-love that moved you out into the water in the first place. That feels really simple and clear. Like you're in transit this month, you're in transition, you are headed to clearer waters. We want to wait till the boat lands and we put our feet on the ground before we decide what to do next. So right now we're in a moment of surrender, and you chose this surrender because you had this fierce call in your heart. Don't forget that. Don't negate that. Aquarius, the star and Oshun harmony, very Aquarian energy. The star is an Aquarian card. So this is a deep month of healing and rest. And it's interesting because of that like stern energy that came through. There's something about that allows you to relax. So it's almost like the Aquarian has this call of like community and connection and what's right. And it can be like, I'm the only one shouting from the mountaintops. I'm the only one who sees that this is wrong, that this needs to be changed, that we need each other, that we need a new way of being. And there's something about maybe the world turning onto that, like tuning into that station that you're like, oh, thank God. And so you start to see the results of that. You start to see the world begin to show itself in a way that feels like its potential, like its possibility. And there's something in that lets you take a break and rest. Aquarius, those two cards together, like rest, reflection, peace, healing, recovery, all of that is really called for you this month. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So we do what we can in the moment, but we do what we can in a way that's sustainable so that we know we can be part of the new world. We can birth the new world or dream the new world into being, not just today, ongoing. And something about this energy is just rest for a moment. You've done something important here, and now you've rung the bell in some important way, and now you can just rest for a minute. You can just be here for a moment. Pisces, whale memory and Two of Cups. Okay, Pisces. Oh, this feels like a reunion, and it feels like reunion with a soulmate or with someone from your past life. There's a recognition here. So the Two of Cups, you guys know this, is my pregnancy card. So if you are not trying to get pregnant, note that's here. If you are trying to get pregnant, note that's here. But the whale memory says to me, this is like a deeper, so you're connecting here on the material plane, but there's a deeper recognition taking place. So there's something about the joy and the union and the connection and the synthesis that's happening and how it connects you to these deeper like currents of knowing. Like you've known each other. This is like you've known each other for lifetimes. It's like meeting and connecting with someone. You're like, I know you. I've seen you before. We've done this before. And with my children, I always feel this recognition. And I've had this so many times with friends or lovers where you meet them and you're like, I know you. That's the energy that's here, and it's beautiful. So enjoy that, Pisces. Enjoy that sense of recognition of coming home to a community, a connection that has fortified you in the past, and maybe it's here to fortify you again. Yeah, it's really beautiful. Aries, Two of Swords and Tree of Life connection. So this is a pausing energy, Aries. For some reason, Aries, and I know some of you Aries who are listening to this, but there's something about Aries cards that I feel like I'm always in trouble. But Aries, this feels deep down what needs to happen. But the way I would describe it is you're in this pause, you're in this waiting for a moment, and you're not sure what to do. You're on the horns of a dilemma, right? The Two of Swords is always the horns of a dilemma. And I want you to picture that you're on this horns of a dilemma and you're sitting still. But as you're sitting still, the energy from you is dripping down into the root system. And there's something about the root system that's like taking in that energy and then informing you back through the root system of what to do next. So it's the energy that comes through is it's just a matter of time. The knowing is the knowing, and the truth is the truth, and the connection is vital and true. And so it's like, just be patient with yourself while you re-engage with life, re-engage with the universe, re-engage with some kind of deeper root system, deeper knowing. The tree of life, right? The tree of like where all things come from. There's something about this pause that you're in that's actually tapping into that. And there's like a burning, there's a fire, there's a momentum, there's like an Aries insistency and urgency that's like trying to say to you like, oh my God, you're gonna miss it, or you're gonna miss your chance. And there's something about this fire water conversation that's happening, and just trusting the water seeping in, trusting the knowing that's coming up from the root system, and knowing when it's time to act, there's just not going to be confusion. Like, you're just going to know. But your work right now is to wait. It's like that moment, wait for it now. Like it has that kind of energy. Taurus, Hathor celebration and Three of Wands. I love this for you, Taurus. I didn't see this until I just picked up the cards. So Three of Wands is your ship coming in. I'm actually moving into a Three of Wands year this year, and I'm Taurus rising, so this feels like I'm going to sit with this for a while in my own practice. But Three of Wands is your ship coming in. So Two of Wands is I have these plans, these dreams I'm trying to manifest. And the Three of Wands is the settling into the knowing of what is aligned for you, what is meant for you will never pass you by. And the coming to meet your destiny, like coming to the shoreline to meet your destiny. Your ship coming in, the arrival, it's like a knowing that's so much bigger than you. And Hathor celebration, just this sense of really celebrating what arrives for you this month, Taurus. Celebrating the work you've done, who you are, how you arrive at this meeting point, and just joy. This is really nice, Taurus. Hold on, let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, the only thing I'll say is like hands out, I was speaking to a friend and I said, we were talking about putting something on the altar, like the faith that's required. But are you putting it on the altar with fear? I really want this, or like trepidation, or are you putting it on the altar with joy? Put it on the altar with joy. Open your hands and know that it's already yours, Taurus. There's something really lovely about the reaching for it. Reach for it, and then when it arrives, celebrate it. Yeah, gratitude and celebration. Gemini, Ace of Wands and Turtle, grounding. Okay, Gemini, this is cool. This is you, Ace of Wands. It's your Ace of Swords, right? Gemini energy is, a new idea. A new connection. I see it. And the Ace of Wands is a little bit deeper than that. So it's a new inspiration, a new turn on, a new passion, a new spark. Something lights up and you're like, I like it. It feels good. I want it. I'm going to cultivate it. I'm going to take care of it. And the turtle grounding says do that. So for Gemini, sometimes you can be, and me too, Gemini moon here, right? So we can pop. Our brain is like constantly metabolizing and working with new information and making new connections. And we can get also distracted. So there's something about feel the new idea when it links up with your heart, especially, and then ground it. Put structure, pattern, process around it so that it can it like stoke the fire. Do what you need to do to build a space for this spark to actually become something that can burn with heat and sustainability and over time. And also something about permission in your turn on. Look how the turtle card, look how there's like a body and then the star in her center. That's really where the Ace of Wands energy comes from. It comes from that sacral solar plexus area. And so there's something about this feeling, this like opening, this turn on, this excitement, this activation, and staying with it. The way I was describing to Aries to allow the water to like seep into the root system, allow the fire, the warmth to spread across your entire system. Is something about an ability you might have to pop out of it again and an invitation to stay with it just a couple of beats longer, a couple of breaths longer and see what happens. Yeah, question Gemini around your ability to stay with what feels good. That's what's here. So that's up for you in November. Gemini, Cancer, 7 of Wands and compassion. Okay, Cancer. So 7 of Wands is my boundaries, what I need to create so that I can breathe, experience myself, know myself. For you, Cancer, it's so easy for you to feel into the body of the world, the bodies of others, the emotions of others. Like you effortlessly and without thinking go out there or feel what's true out there. And the 7 of Wands is the work required to learn where my boundary line is, what is mine and what is yours, and what's my responsibility and what's yours, and just that whole negotiation of the boundary line. And compassion, the Kuan Yin card is here. So it feels less make a boundary, don't make a boundary. It feels like learning about the boundaries, learning about, my beautiful therapist shaman friend Roberta always talks about the contact barrier and like coming to the edge and like merging and then moving away, and how that's such a natural rhythm. There's kind of ebb and flow to connection. That's very much here, Cancer, in terms of I am trying to learn about myself and where my energy begins and ends. And so I'm going to step closer, and that's going to be okay for a minute. And then I'm going to retreat, and that's going to be okay for a minute. There's something about learning how to be in your own system and also at the boundary line without abandoning yourself or without being harsh about it. There might be some clumsiness to this. And so we want to have a lot of gentleness and compassion for ourselves as we're learning to negotiate self-love, like how to stay with me, but also be with you. And that can be family, romantic, friends, community. There's something here about just being really tender with yourself as you're learning to hold a boundary and be at the boundary line in a new way. Cancer, Leo. Justice, desert, solitude. There's something here, Leo, about balancing the scales with solitudes. There's something about maybe overgiving or overexposure or something about out there, over there, you're doing too much, and a call back to solitude and the pleasure in solitude, and how just it's tough, Leo, but like an awareness of where you're out of balance in regard to yourself and other. There's something about this invitation to be alone and to find peace in that. And I can just feel how you're not going to this message. And it feels a little bit like a trial. It feels a little bit like, I don't want to. That's the energy I feel. Like, I don't want to. And that's okay. Like, you don't have to want to, but understand that there's something, you want you to really picture the scales, and the way that others are fed by your energy is so weighed with goodness. You've given so much there, but that your side of the scale is a little hungry, a little depleted, and wants your energy in a way that feels possible and doable for you. Just remembering to drip drop energy into your own side of the scales as a way to teach the universe that you can receive more, that you are allowed more, and you need to model that for the universe or model that for the scales of justice. You have such beautiful light, Leo, and it's probably really easy to share it with the world, but there's something about an invitation to share it with yourself as well that's here that would serve you well. It feels like prep work, like it needs to be done. So there you go, Leo. I love you. Virgo, King of Swords and Hummingbird. Oh, this is really, look at these two cards side by side. They're very, like they mirror each other, don't they? You see that? There's something really lovely here. Let me just put words around it. King of Swords, your words, your thoughts, your communication, being like drops of nectar. There's an opportunity for you this month to feed the world with color. That's a weird thing to say. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to put this into words, but there's this, okay, the image is like, you've been preparing for this for a while, and there's a color to you. There's a strength in vibrancy to you that the world is hungry for. And there's a way to offer it that feels like power and feels like a gift and feels effortless. It has so much to do with just being your own vibrant, radiant self. Virgo, the earth energy that you embody is misunderstood, like you get called the perfectionist, but there's a grounding consistency and constancy to you that is such a medicine for so many people. And there's something about color here. There's something about the way that really like colors the world or turns the world on for some people. This is interesting energy. So much love here. There's so much love in these cards. So just go on with your bad self. That's the energy I hear, Virgo. Go on with your bad self. Just go be beautiful and bright. Go be a beautiful, bright bird in the world and let that be enough. Let that be beautiful and magical and powerful. Don't underestimate how important you are. That feels like it's here, Virgo. And then Libra, the world and mountain presence. Permission, Libra, to settle this month and let things, it feels similar to Aquarian energy. It's like the energy is the Aquarians and the Libras in the room have been working really hard to ring the bell for the rest of us. And now we're all catching up. So it feels like the messages that the world might be hearing this month are messages you've already heard. And something about Venus and Uranus is here for sure. And just permission to rest where you are this month, Libra, and enjoy it. Like wherever you are, I hope that it feels fulfilling, and I hope it, grounds you and feels like love. Look, the world card in this deck is this couple at the center and then this mountain. There's just something about these two cards just feel so good to each other. Let it feel good. Let it feel good, Libra. Just pause and enjoy wherever you are. It's really beautiful. There's a strength and a peace here. Like things will start again, things will get crazy again, but right now, if you can stay and enjoy this, enjoy as much as you can about the month's energy ahead. Don't wait for the other shoe to drop. Don't feel like you have to be burning the candle at both ends. Just like, this feels good. I've worked hard. I get to rest and enjoy how good this feels for a hot minute. That's what it feels like here, my Libra friends. Okay, that's what I have for you. I love you all, and let's see where Sky Daddy takes us this month, and may you let yourself be moved by the world and be brave when it comes to getting right by God, getting right with God. So dramatic, tarot. Let's see what that means. Let's live that time and then check in again when that mysterious time has moved on. Bye.